Dear colleagues, this patient has cataract with small pupil with pseudoexfoliation. I have taken up this case for surgery. Let us watch the surgical steps. The main incision has been placed at a selected site. Now, this is a paracentesis incision on the left side of the main incision, and this is another side port on the right side of the main incision. Now I am going to inject an air bubble, and I want to stain the anterior capsule of this cataract with trypan blue dye. And here goes the dye. And now I've asked for some adrenaline to see if the pupil dilates by adrenaline. And here goes the adrenaline. Now the pupil didn't budge. With adrenaline, its size remained the same. There was some synechia. I'm breaking the synechia with Simcoe cannula. And the synechia which is there under the main incision, going through the side port and breaking the synechia over there. In this case, I have already planned to use pupil expansion device, and that is B-Hex. B-Hex is a beautiful hexagonal pupil expansion device innovated by Dr. Suven Bhattacharjee. The antechamber is underfilled and some viscoelastic substance is injected underneath the iris to make some room, to make some space for introduction of this beautiful device so that I can tuck these flanges easily. This is the B-Hex housing. HPMC is injected. Now I place it near the main incision and take a 23 gauge forceps, which is recommended for tucking the flanges of this device. So beautiful forceps, 23 gauge, goes through the side port very easily. Here goes the B-Hex, and when the B-Hex completely goes into the antechamber, then I attempt to tuck the flange. And in this case, the flange didn't tuck properly, so I remove it and again tuck it in a nice way, and this time it is perfect. Alternate flanges are tucked underneath the iris, and we get a hexagonal pupil, and it stretches the pupil so gently that there is no damage. There practically no damage of the sphincter, and the pupil remains round after surgery. You'll see that. This flange is being tucked, going through this side port on the left side, and this flange which was there at around 8 o'clock is tucked. Now the flange which is just in front of the main incision is held with the forceps, and it is tucked like this. That's it. And now we get a hexagonal pupil of about 5.5 millimeter diameter. Now capsular access is done. I have incised the capsule with a 26 gauge for needle. Now I am completing the rhexis with a Utrata forceps. This device doesn't cause any hindrance at any step of surgery. It is so thin that it can go through a 1 millimeter side port. Now hydrodissection is done. After hydrodissection, in this case I have taken two instruments. One is chopper and another one is a Sinskey hook to rotate the nucleus. Here it is. So the nucleus is rotating nicely. And now I introduce the tip of the phaco handpiece, and usually I do direct chop, hold the nucleus at the center. In this case, the nuclear sclerosis is about grade 3, and I could hold it easily. And I can hold the nucleus very nicely at the center, and I chop it. And now each nuclear fragment is emulsified with ultrasonic energy and removed. And see that the device is keeping the pupil so nicely dilated that I am very comfortable in nucleus management. This is Oatley Cataracts 3 phaco machine, and phaco power used in this case is only 55%. Flow rate is 45 ml per minute, and vacuum is 450 millimeter of mercury. So this is the last portion of the nucleus. Since the patient has pseudoexfoliation, since there can be genular weakness in such cases, I am very careful in pulling the fragments and pulling the epinucleus towards the center. Actually, I am separating the epinucleus from the nucleus and emulsifying the nucleus first. And this is the last portion of the nucleus, and this is the last portion of the epinucleus. And I can see that the posterior capsule is quite far towards the vitreous cavity, but still very slowly I emulsify the last portion of the lens matter. Now I inject some viscoelastic substance and clean the cortical matter. I've used a Simcoe cannula 23 gauge for cortical cleanup in this case. And after cortical cleanup, viscoelastic substance is used to fill up the anterior chamber and the bag, the capsular bag. And in this case, we have selected a hydrophilic acrylic intraocular lens, and here goes the lens. Very gently I inject the lens, and very gently I push the lens so that the device doesn't go under the iris. If you don't be gentle, one flange may disengage and go behind the iris. Now I am going to disengage the device and bring it in the anterior chamber. Yes. Hold it at some point and pull it out, and now it is totally in the anterior chamber. Now I hold it here and very gently I pull it out. This incision is big, it's 2.8 millimeter. It very easily it comes out through a 2.2 millimeter incision. Now viscoelastic substance is cleaned, the side ports are hydrated, antechamber is formed, and the case is concluded. Thank you very much for watching. Hope this video will encourage you to use BHEX, a very beautiful pupil expansion device.